And for those of you that may have missed the first couple of weeks, let me just say that in this General Assembly session, the governor has put on the table just in the last 2 weeks, phasing out itemized deductions for mortgage, charity donations, and medical deductions for 500,000 Maryland filers, phasing out and reducing the personal deductions for nearly 500,000 filers, again, as far as personal deductions, an internet tax, a doubling of the flush fee, a commitment to wind power, or as I like to call it, Maryland Solyndra, floating a 7% sales tax idea, increasing the tobacco base, increasing the tax on coal, increasing the tax on telecom companies, increasing the tax on coins, in effect, the tax on investments, slashing the commission of lottery agents, an expansion of the sales tax base, a possibility of a gas tax increase and indexing that gas tax increase, and a sharp increase in car registration fees. And oh, by the way, those still in the General Assembly, they're still continuing to float the idea of combined reporting. So maybe, just maybe after those comments, if you weren't depressed about yesterday's Raven loss, you also could take a look about the word when I say doublespeak. Because if you think that is a balanced approach, and I think you understand the word doublespeak. On the backdrop of this, the governor has launched what I call a war on rural Maryland, which indeed, through a set of land use policies, Plan Maryland, which he did through an executive order, instead of bringing in a piece of legislation to allow us to talk about how we use land and taking away local control. A proposed septic ban that we'll see in the next couple of weeks, and implementation, at the time, 5 years early, of a watershed implementation plan that has a cost of that independent economists assess as $11 billion, or $9,000 per Maryland household, and will cost the state 65,000 jobs. You know, I think that that indeed is something to take a look at, and you're going to hear from the speaker and others probably that, gee, the state has paid a significant amount of the rural's education costs. You know, if you cut their road money where they can't repair their roads, you close their mental health facilities to where people are showing up in the emergency room who have mental illness, and then on top of that, you cut their economic development, the state can afford to pay a little bit more towards the rural's education. You're being promised all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, we spend 45% of the state's operating dollars on less than 3% of the miles traveled in its subways. You know, which one of you in your business would commit your business to spending more on a particular product in which you lose 65 cents or more on every operating dollar, which is what mass transit does in the state? Yet the governor has promised a purple line in Montgomery County and a red line in Baltimore City at a cost of $4 billion. For those of you in the room who think you're going to see new road projects coming out of a new gas tax, the governor's already put these two massive projects in the front of the line.